If you are someone who has been wondering what is it like to apply for studying abroad, or you are someone who wants to avail this opportunity for themselves, specifically for the country China, then this video is for you. Qualifications for making this video. Hi, my name is Odessa. I'm a South Asian international student who is studying abroad in China on scholarship for my undergraduate's degree, specifically my bachelor's for computer science. Let's talk about my scholarship specification, since there are so many different types of scholarships that you can avail if you are coming to study in China. Specific type of scholarship that I have is a partial scholarship offered by my own university. To go into details, this scholarship covers my tuition fees for 4 years and my dormitory expenses. Other than that, say the food, electricity, utility, every other bill, every other thing I have to take care of by myself, although the tuition fees and the dormitory fees is covered by the university for 4 years. Now we've discussed my qualification, what I'm studying in China, what type of scholarship I have. Let's move on to our first point of discussion, which is types of degrees offered in China. By the way, I'm sorry for the fact that I keep looking downwards here. It's just because I have my notes so I don't forget anything I'm supposed to talk about. As a foreigner or as an international student, what type of degrees can you get in China? So you can apply for undergraduates, bachelor's, and then you can apply for postgraduate degrees, master's degree, PhD, and except these traditional degrees, you can also apply for two separate, or I should say two additional categories. One of them is diploma. You can apply to get a diploma in China. Their time spans and their requirements, and of course their scholarships varies very much depending on which program you're choosing to get into, offered by which college or which university. And the last category of degrees or certificates, I should say, you can get in China is a language course. Now, this is something that I had not thought of before coming to China myself, but it's something that I saw a lot of students doing once I got to my university. So, a language program is basically when international students apply in a Chinese university to study Chinese for a specific time. My university, usually the language students are studying China here for about 1 year, and after 1 year their program ends and they go back. Whether you should apply for a language course or no, it's completely up to you. I mean, if you are scared of the commitment to apply for a long-term degree, such as my degree, you're scared of what if you don't like the environment, or what if you cannot adjust, and 4 years just sound too daunting for you, then go ahead, apply for a language course. I would say it's a good and safe option, and studying Chinese before coming to China would probably come in handy. Not probably, I mean definitely come in handy. Even the language courses, there are types, and you can also get scholarships for a language course, which is insanely good offer, to be honest. Moving on, while sticking to our topics of scholarships, there are two routes through which you can pursue whatever program, degree, diploma, or language course you're choosing to study in China. So these are the means of supporting yourself. The money matters. So are you choosing a program, a degree, and you're going on the self-funded route? That means none of your expenses is going to be covered by the university or the government. Everything is going to be paid by yourself. The second route, however, that I chose personally for myself is the scholarship route. The scholarship route means either some percentage, maybe half, or maybe the entire expense of you staying in China and studying for your specific program is going to be covered either by the university or by the government, depending on the scholarship program. This is something that a lot of people do not know, that you can get a scholarship. There's such different types of scholarships that you can get. Okay, so moving on to our next point, and that is university tiers and scholarship acceptance rates. Let's discuss about how universities are divided into different categories in China. So each university would have its very own tier which it belongs to. There are levels to this thing. They are divided into these categories, and the topmost universities, or the top tier universities I should say, are the most competitive to get into, be it scholarship or even otherwise. You are going to be competing with not only international students but also Chinese students. If you are applying for, say, a Chinese taught program, it's going to be hell for you, so be prepared for that. And I just wanted to point out that your scholarship acceptance rate is directly related to which tier your university belongs to. Lower tier universities generally have a more wide, a more flexible acceptance rate as compared to the top tier universities. This is something you have to do by yourself. Research about your program, research about the universities where this program is being offered, check the stats about the graduates. Some universities even put out information such as employment rates, the awards that their students won. It would just give you a rough overview about what sort of expectations you can have from going into that specific type of university. More subcategories to this entire thing, and that is the language in which the degree is being taught into to you. For example, some students, they already know Chinese. Some international students, they have been studying Chinese because they can understand and speak Chinese. They can easily apply into Chinese taught programs, which means they're going to be studying with Chinese students, and they're going to be studying from mainstream staff that is responsible for teaching the majority, which is the Chinese student. On the other hand, if you are someone like me who was not able to study Chinese before coming to China, you're going to choose degree taught in English. In your case, you are not going to be studying with Chinese students. You're going to be studying with other international students, and you're going to be taught in English by Chinese teachers who can speak English. So that's just something that I wanted to point out. Okay, so now we're gonna discuss scholarship requirements. What do I mean by requirements? Because I'm not talking about the legal documentation requirements. Depending on the type of scholarship you are applying for, you're gonna have a certain requirement. So there are general requirements. Say there's a requirement that will require you to not be a Chinese native citizen, overseas Chinese, stuff like that. Some specific scholarships, you have to check whether your country is eligible for that scholarship or no. If you're applying for an undergraduate degree, just like me, in a Chinese university, there's going to be a certain threshold. Say they're going to require you to have a certain percentage in your high school. For example, my overall percentage for my 11th grade and 12th grade was 90 plus. You will not be eligible for the scholarship if your grades are, say, lower than 70%, or in some categories 80% or 90%. This is something that you have to check by yourself. Again, now we're going to move to the documentation requirements. Yet again, the type of scholarship you're applying for matters a lot. Even if you're choosing the self-funded route, your documentation requirements may be a bit different than the scholarship route. You're gonna have the general documentation requirements, say your family certificate, your degree manuscript. They're gonna want your official result cards. Those certificates should be attested. They're gonna see police character certificate. They're gonna want a bank statement, stuff like that. If you guys want, I can make a separate video going into details about the document requirement, so you won't feel panicked or overwhelmed. I know this may sound a lot of work to do, but honestly, judging from my personal experience, I would say it's totally worth it. You know, good things, they're hard to get. You have to work for them. So do not lose hope. If you are starting this process, you're gonna be wanting to stay strong for that month or the next month until your results come back. Lastly, I wanted to talk about visa application and the process difficulty overall for visa application. Now, let me point it out to you. This is not my first year. I have been here for 1.5 years. Lately, I heard that the visa requirements and the process has gone through a bit of changes, that it has become a bit more strict. I do not think that is the case. I'm gonna tell you about my visa process. So what happened was that because I didn't live in a major city in my country, for example, the capital, I had to go through an agency which would send my documents to the embassy for myself. I handed all of my documents, made sure that everything is correct in the right order. The agency will help you with that. I had an interview, but the interview was no pressure. There was a person inside the screen, so it was kind of a digital interview. They asked me questions like, what is your purpose to go to China? Do you plan on doing some bad stuff? Weird questions, but nothing that you cannot manage by yourself. You don't need to prepare for it like it's an exam or a test. Just go in there and remain calm, answer the questions honestly, and that's it. And after some time, my passport came back with my visa on it, and that's it. So I would say, depending on whether or not your documents are correct and are arranged in the correct order, either you're gonna face some difficulty or no problem at all. So just make sure that if you're not aware of how you should do this stuff by your own, like, ask for help, go to an agency and they would do that for you. Okay guys, so this was all for today's video. I hope you got to learn something from it. I hope it broadened your perspective. I am planning to make more videos in the future with more details because I didn't want this video to become super long, the hard thing to sit through. Anyways, if you guys want me to make video about some specific topic related to the stuff that we discussed today, how are you supposed to find a scholarship or stuff like that, basically anything, just comment it down and I'll get to it. Thank you so much for watching.